Welcome to Significance Breeds Success. My name is Daniel Puder. I'm the host today. I'm with a rock star. He's the founder of Shoe Crew and Azuri. His name is Murray Erickson. I love spending time with you on Saturday. My wife, my son, we went to your house, saw what you were up to, your life. You were a pro athlete. You're a top athlete, rock star.
Neither one of those. I'm one of them guys that does everything but masters nothing. But anyway, I've had an exciting life, and I'm blessed. We're all blessed. We've had good shows. Wonderful meeting you and your wife. We had a great day on Saturday, and here we are.
Yeah, so. Conrad loved your animals. Yeah. They're super beautiful.
Yeah, right.
And I love the companies you have. You're about health. You're about serving the world. You're exactly what Significance Breeds Success is about. Impacting the world for future generations.
Sure.
So on right here, you got some shoes. Like, just tell me what's up, because you're giving my wife a pair of shoes. You don't have my size 14, but I get.
One day we'll have. I get your
it.
Size.
But what? Why shoes? Like, these are beautiful. I love the blue ones. Well, these are beautiful.
And listen, I've had problems with my feet all my life, and I came across a pair of shoes, and I have a dear friend of mine that works for me as an engineer, and I asked him. I said, let's make some shoes that are comfortable, sustainable, and you get in them and your feet are comfortable. Because I've had, I don't know what it is, but I just can never find any shoes that I at the end of the day, I just can't wait to get out of them. So he went off to another country and got a design for them, and we started a shoe company, and it's our first line. I think we have four different models of them. It's shoecrew.com. I guess we can put it up.
I'll put it down below on the podcast.
No big deal. And so here we go. And it's we started off started off with a few pairs of shoes. I think we have started off with 6,000 pairs of shoes, and we have another whole models coming out. We have blue ones and black ones, on and on. So listen, they're reasonably priced. Mm-hmm. They don't last forever, but they're comfortable, and
I like comfortable.
Having some fun with them, yeah.
So I'm like 260 pounds, right?
You can wash them, and you can wear them in the water. You can rock climbing. You can run with them. They're not,
It's great for South Florida too.
Perfect. Yeah, they're just a good shoe. Yeah. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that down the road. At one point, I thought it was going to be a prescription model where you buy a prescription for a year. You get 4 pairs of shoes, and you get to pick them, but. Yeah, that didn't work out so good, because you never know what you're getting. Who wants to sign up for something they don't know what they're getting down the road?
Yeah.
But listen, when you buy a pair, then we tell you about the next pair, and we wanted to do a little deal for the environment. You can send them back to us, and we'll grind them up and make pillows or something like that.
I get the same shoe every other month. Like I just ordered 3 more pairs, same exact shoe, because I know what feels good.
Yeah,
because I know. Exactly. So I love the whole,
and that's what we also have. I've teamed up with a pediatrist, Michelle Koo, and she's Dr. Michelle Koo, and she's a podiatrist. So we work with your actual foot, and as you age. We're horrible on our feet, because we're on our feet all the time, and we don't look after food. We wear flip-flops or whatever, and so your arch starts flattening on and on and on. So we also have a company that makes a orthotic for the shoe, and it's done through a laser process. And I have one in my shoe right now. It makes a world of difference. So I literally I got to take my shoes off to go to bed. That's how comfortable I am with them. So anyway,
all day.
That's what we do. So yeah, that's it.
So I was really impressed. So showing up to your house, obviously you've done a lot in sports, hockey and racing. I think racers. I think there's like car drivers, the people that jump the motorcycles, bull riders.
Right.
You're all crazy. I was kind of like.
Let me tell you something. I was always fascinated. I guess where I got my fascination with racing was snowmobiling, and I lived, because I'm Canadian. I was born in Canada, and I raced snowmobiles a little bit, and I just had that fascination of that speed and that challenge. And a friend of mine in West Texas got me in a little midget car, and I said, I got to do this. So I had the fortune of being able to put together a team and a coach from out in California, and here I went into professional racing, and I was horrible at it, but I got to see the culture of race car drivers, and they're incredible people, they're amazing people, they have death is not even in their vocabulary. It's like, and it's a funny thing. I was in Phoenix, Arizona training on a big track, big speedway. It was a mile speedway. And my coach said to me, he said, "Are you prepared to die today?" And I said, "What the fuck are you talking about? Am I prepared to die today?" He said, "Listen, if you're not prepared to die, you need to get out of the car. Because ultimately, you just have to get that out of your head, because that's the ultimate, what happens in this sport. Ultimately, you could die." And I kind of brushed that off for a couple of years, in fact. But it was back when I was in my business. I was married. I just had a lot on the go, and I wasn't. I wasn't. And you can't have that mentality. These guys in the race car, they don't think none of it. It's balls to the wall, and they go. And I was a detriment to my fellow racers, so I could never go for the gusto, And of course, I started racing when I was 40. I was racing with kids that were 16 years old, guys that became very successful in NASCAR. They were starting in USAC. It was USAC was the racing sanction. So I never. I always tell people somebody has to come in last, and so but I had the opportunity to really at one point. So I quit for a couple of years. And then I went back into it, and I had the opportunity to find out that zone when you get in there and you have all you're focused in is getting that car to go as fast as it can, and it's fast, and you're on a cusp, and you feel that cusp that you're on, that because I flipped many times at concussions, wrecked a bunch of cars, but you got 30 other guys out there, and you can't even. You can't even worry about them at all. And my point was, I didn't want to get in their way because these are guys up and coming, but you can't even think that way, because then you're a detriment. And so as a hockey player, you're playing as a team, and as well as I do, when you're fighting involved and rough and tough and bashing, crying and smashing each other. But you never think about death, but you think, well, I broke my nose today, I broke my arm, I broke my shoulder, whatever. But it's a team sport. Racing is a team sport, but you're the guy out there ultimately by yourself, and it's you against the car and you against that, and it's a different mentality. It's both very unique, but racing has that. Well, I guess it's a lot like the game you're playing. You're a fighter. You're the only guy in the ring, and it's me against you, and of course boxing is.
You have a team though too. Like you have your team that gets you ready. That mental, you have your physical guys. Sure. You have your tire guys, your gas guy. So it's interesting on being the individual sport, right. But individual, I believe, is more team based. Absolutely. Than a team is.
You're absolutely right, and that's with everything. That's with everything.
Because you have to run your team now,
right? And that's with everything. Like that's with running a business.
Yep.
That's with your home. You have to understand everybody has a role. Somebody has to be a leader. Mm-hmm. You have to listen. You have to learn. You have to care. You have to share. And I think I think one of the things that sports does in any sport is it gives you that understanding of working together, because if you don't, I had a situation with a child, and I said, it's easy to be different. It's hard to fit in because you have to find your way, and you might have a bully there, and you might have a superstar, you might be intimidated, but you have to find your way, and that's difficult in life. To find out where I fit in and where I belong and what my purpose is, and as you age, it's easy for me to sit here now and go, oh man, I got all this stuff figured out. And it's funny when you get old, you start seeing that, God, you've been through all this. You've been an idiot. You've been smart. You've been successful. You've been a failure. But you get to a point in your life where you understand things like that. You understand that it's not just you, and you need to surround yourself with right people. And there has to be times where you have to say, I just don't need to be. I just don't need to be that self-centered, and I have to understand that sometimes there's people that I have to say goodbye to. I have to say
huge.
And that's difficult.
How did that? So obviously, you own multiple businesses. You founded these. Right. I just heard some business stuff you were doing when I was in your office, and it's same. I love my management team. They're freaking rock stars,
right? And
I pour into them because I know they get to pour into others.
Sure.
And then those people get to pour into the kids in our schools or nonprofit, that sort of thing. How did those things of almost dying in car crashes, or almost, or what you were doing with ice hockey, or traveling the world, and what you did with the oil industry, like
Right.
invent a new tool that changed the world,
Right.
so that we had less pollution per se. We
Right.
didn't, we.
Well, I wouldn't say that I did anything that changed the world. I wouldn't say that I can master any of that. But what I have faced with is the fact that maybe I'm not coming home today. And I had that commitment. And look, you have to decide. I'm a firm believer that we're in a world that everybody has, and I want everybody to understand that we have equal opportunity here. In our world, I see it, and it's painful to watch because, everybody in this planet has equal opportunity, and we need to. It's our job to encourage people to understand. And I, as my businesses, like I go look at, everybody here can be anything they want to be, and you have to encourage people that you can. But you have to understand it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work, and there's no freebies. And I thought at one time, I had a lot of things, success come to me very, very easily, and that was the worst thing in the world that happened to me, because you just go, I deserve this.
Yeah.
I should have this. And then you start understand, well, there's nothing I can't do. Anything I can do turns to gold. Boy, that's a big mistake. And you learn from that. And then and there's nothing in this world that's free, and there's nothing in this world that overcomes hard work.
So as a kid, I sold eggs to neighbors. My parents bought me chickens. They fed them. They were my subsidy, right?
Yeah.
And then I went door to door when I was like 4, 5, 6 years
Sure.
old, and I sold eggs.
Sure.
And you started a company very young.
Yeah.
How did you, can you tell them what you did, and how'd you get that mindset?
I don't know where it came from, but I think a lot of it had to do with, my father was a hardworking man. My mother was she was a nurse, and a back-breaking nurse. This woman was just so compassionate. And there was never, her motivation was never it was never monetary. Her motivation was looking after people. Mm-hmm. My father was just a hardworking man, and he had his own troubles. And I just got to the point where I felt that if I wanted something, it was easier to earn it than to ask for it. And so it became easy to, if I had to go sell bingo cards and I made enough to buy a pair of pants, that seemed to be a pretty easy way to do things, I wasn't around, my family wasn't very strong on education, and I didn't get a very good education because of my sports. And that's not good. You have to education is so important. I mean, and it's hard sometimes because you see some of these educators that just, and that's supposed to be your mentor, but education is so important. I don't know how anybody in this day and age could ever survive without a good education.
Did you have one teacher when you were growing up that just gave you that, like my second grade teacher, Mr. Starr? I'm trying to still find this guy. Yeah. I've literally background checked him. I'm trying to figure out where he was. I can't find him. Period, hands down. I sent somebody to go do everything.
Yeah.
He told me in second grade, he brought everybody cookies, and he said, we all got a cookie. And I was like that special ed kind of thick boned kid at the time. And I went back and asked for another one after another kid did. And he goes, no, you can't have a second cookie. And I looked at him, I go, why not? He goes, because you didn't say thank you for the first one.
There you go.
That's education.
That's education.
That changed my life.
That's
because
education.
I tell I am more thankful, grateful, and blessed every day.
Yeah.
From second grade, I'm like, and I had amazing parents to teach me, but that hit me hard.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, hold on, I got to really rethink this.
Yeah. And I had a lot of that. I had a lot of people. I was always, my father my father worked hard. My mother worked hard. They weren't around much to be parents. So I always had mentors. And I learned really quickly that, and that was where I was getting my education, was from listening to people. And I liked asking questions. I was probably the pain in the ass, like, why does this do that? Why does this do that? How do you do this? But that's I think, and that's in my life. I try to really, and I'm not really great at it, but as I've gotten older, I want to. Of course, everybody has any type of success wants to share that with people, And what advice can you give to people? And I try not to, I try not to me. I did this, or you should do this. It's like just lead by example. And I think that's what what I've really focused on in terms of my